Hello and welcome to the tutorial on logistic regression. Actually, the main function used in logistic regression is sigmoid function. We can represent the sigmoid function as the value of sigmoid function lies in the range of 0 to 1. Now let us draw it on x and y axis. Now suppose this is 1. When we take x is equal to 0, the value of fx will be equal to 0.5. So sigmoid function will cut here at y axis 0 and 0.5. So now this part of the curve will be like that and this part of the curve will be like that. So this is S-shaped curve. Now from this curve we can observe that for all values of fx which lies in a range of 0 to 0.5, it represents negative class. And for all values of fx which lies in a range of 0.5 to 1, it goes in positive class. We use this feature in binary classification. So now fx will represent, if less than 0.5, it will be either negative class or may represent class 0, otherwise it represents positive class or class 1. Now, before going to discuss about logistic regression in detail, because it is also known as linear classifier, so first we have to go through some basics of linear and non-linear regression. Actually, linear regression, we can also divide the linear regression into two different parts. First is simple linear regression. We can represent it through a simple line equation like b0 plus b1x, where b0 is intercept, is slope, and the second part is multiple linear regression. We can represent it as equation now. The next category is non-linear regression. Actually, in the case of non-linear regression, a line, equation of line, or such kind of equations may not fit such kind of data points which comes under non-linear regression. To fit such kind of data points which comes under non-linear regression, we generally use some other type of curve equation like parabolic curve hyperbolic curve, exponential curve, and so many. Actually, in the case of logistic regression, we replace this part through either through linear regressions. Equation. So in this case, here our equation fx will be converted into e to the power minus, suppose we take a simple non-linear simple multiple regression equation like b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 and so on. Now till here the situation is okay. We consider this as a weight vector also. Now, if we have the value of weight vectors and so on, then we can easily identify the class of any points. Suppose we have given points x1 and x2, then we can identify that by putting the value of x1, x2 here, and by using the value of b0, b1, b2, we can easily get the value. Suppose it is like 0.8, then we can say that it will lie in class 1. If it is like 0.03, we can say it will go through class 0. But the issue is how to identify these weight vectors. Or how to learn these weight vectors. Now the next part is how to calculate the value of b0, b1 and b2. Actually in the current setup, fx will represent the probability whether the point x1 and x2 will belongs to either class 0 or will belongs to either class 1. So we can represent it like that: y equal to 1 given x with weight vector w equal to fx. Similarly, for negative class, we can write it like y equal to 0 given x with weight vector w as 1 minus fx. Now we can generalize it y given x with weight vector w as fx y and 1 minus fx to the power y. 1 minus y. Now suppose we have m independent training samples. In this case, we can rewrite this equation as a likelihood of parameters like that: I equal to 1 to m probability y ith x given weight vector w equal to I equal to 1 to m ith x and ith y into 1 minus ith x into 1 minus ith y. We can also represent it as a likelihood function LP, where B is the actually weight vector. Here we taken W, but here we are using B to get the. Now we can take the log of this to get the log likelihood. The log likelihood will be calculated as so we will use Ruffle part. So after taking log, we can write it like LB as log equal to I equal to 1 to m ith y log f ith x plus 1 minus ith y into log 1 minus ith x, like that. Now to get the maximum value of b0, b1 and b2, we will take the maximum likelihood of this log and take the derivation of this with respect to weight vector. So suppose we represent the weight as a bj, then our derivation for maximum likelihood will be like t lb d bj. Now we just put this one side just for simplicity of the calculation. So the derivation part will be equal to y to the power I ith y divided by this part ith x into derivation of f ith x d bj and then plus 1 minus into divided by 1 minus ith x into derivation of now we can simplify it like that. yi into fxi into derivation of I with respect to bj minus, because this portion will have no effect and this minus will come here, 1 minus fxi ith x into derivation of fxi with respect to bj. Now we can take this part common, so our equations will be f ith x minus 1 minus and this part will be common, so it is equal to f x I ith x, or with derivation of f x I with respect to dbj. Now we will go through the derivation of sigmoid function, because this is represents the sigmoid function. Actually, when we derive the sigmoid function, then suppose we have fx is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus e to the power minus x, then our derivation f dash x will be equal to 1 will be equal to fx into 1 minus fx. But now here we are deriving taking the derivation with respect to the weight vector or weight component, so there will be some additional part which comes from this part, like b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 divided with respect to dbj, so there will be an additional part. So now this equation can be rewritten again as so we can write this part again as yi f xi minus 1 minus iy 1 minus ix, and again this part will go here like f xi 1 minus f xi into derivation of b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 with respect to dbj. Now we can simplify this part. We can simplify this part by taking the multiplication. Again, another thing is this part is a negative sign, so we will add a minus 1 here, multiply everything with minus 1. So after simplification it will be equivalent to yi, this will go down here, so we will have 1 minus fxi minus this entire will cancel, so fxi into derivation of b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 with respect to derivation with respect to bj. So here after simplifying, this part will be equal to yi minus xi plus yi into f xi, and this part will go here, so this will cancel, so our equation will be minus 1 into yi minus fxi into derivation of b derivation b1 x1 plus b2 x2 with respect to d bj. Now the equation is solved. Now for b0 value, when we take the derivation, with respect to b0, then these equations will be equal to into yi minus xi into entire thing will cancel. So this derivation of this part with b0 will be equal to 1. Similarly, when we take the derivation with respect to b1, the entire part will be same except this part. Here the derivation, in this derivation, this part will participate, so it will be equal to x1. Similarly, for the entire part will be same. The only thing will be different is the use of x2. So now we are here to use the stochastic gradient descendant for each iteration to learn the weight of b0, b1 and b2. So how to learn the weight of b0? So the weight of b0 will be equal to weight of b0 minus alpha into the derivation of LB with respect to dB0. So it is nothing but B0 minus alpha into, actually this is minus 1 part, so it will be plus 1. Due to this minus 1, here we use the plus sign, so it will be equal to yi minus fxi into 1. Similarly, b1 will be equal to b1 plus alpha into yi minus fxi into x1, and b2 will be equal to b2 plus alpha yi minus fxi into x2, and so on. Here alpha is a learning rate. If the value of alpha is very high, then it will jump to take the higher interval jump, and if alpha is low, then it will the system will slowly learn. Generally we use the value of alpha between 0 to 0.5. Now the practical question is how to actually calculate So now we have all these values available, like we can write it in a form of rule like that: b0 is equal to b0 plus alpha into yi minus fxi, b1 is equal to b1 plus alpha into y to the r xi into x1, and b2 is equal to now suppose we want to learn these parameters. bit vectors b0, b1 and b2. Suppose we have points like 1 3 like 2 4 1 3.5 like that, and suppose some other r points are like that, and these all points actually represents the outcome of some independent events. So suppose this is our first point, this is our second point, this third record, fourth record, fifth record, sixth, and so on. And now suppose that all these records represents a common class like class 0, and this outcome represents some class like class 1. Now the question is how to use this data and this equation to learn the value of b0, b1 and b2. For this we will use very simple calculation. So here our first point like x1 1 and x2 1 is 1 and 3.5. Similarly x1 2 second point, x2 2 is 1 and 3, and similarly our next point x1 3 and x2 3 is 2 and 4, all belongs to class 0, and this point belongs to class 1. So we will take this first time. At the initial stage we consider that the value of b0 equal to b1 equal to b2 equal to 0. So if all the values are 0, then what will be the value of x? Then the value of fx will be equal to 1 divided by e to the power 0, which is equal to 0.5. So this is our iteration number 1. Now at second iteration we will take the points. So this is the value of fx from previous. So in this case our b0 equal to b0 old value is alpha 0, so 0 plus alpha, suppose we take the learning rate 0.3, as this first instance belongs to the class 0, so it will be equal to 0 minus 0.5 into 1, so it will be equal to minus 0.15. Similarly, we can calculate the value of b1 as 0 plus 0.3 into 0 minus 0.5 into x1. Here the value of x1 is 1, so we will replace this as 1. So now it is again minus 0.15. Similarly, we can calculate the value of b2 as 0, because our initial stage at first iteration our value of b0, b1 and b2 is 0. So 0 minus 0.5 into 3.5. So in this case it will be equal to minus 0.15 into 3.5. Now by using this calculated value b0, b1 and b2, we can easily calculate the value of fx by putting the value of b0, b1, b2, x1, x2 here. Then we can get the value of fx. The value of fx will be equal to 1 divided by 1 plus e to the power minus b0 is equal to minus 0.15 plus, okay, we can write it here, just deleting it because lack of space. So by using these values we can recalculate the value of fx and iteration second as 1 divided by 1 plus e to the power minus b0 is equal to minus 0.15 plus, again this is minus 0.15 into x1, so our x1 is 1, so it's equal to 1 plus again minus 0.15 into 3.5, this is our value of b2 here, and into x2 which is again 3.5. So by calculating this value we can get the value of fx. Now after getting the fx at iteration 2, we will use the iteration 3. In the third iteration we will use these values and this class and repeat the same process. We will calculate b0, b1, b2 by using this calculated fx and update the value of b0, b1 and b2, and then again we will calculate the value of fx. We will repeat this process, and after repetition till all the training data set, we will have some effective b0, b1 and b2 value, and after having b0, b1 and b2 value effectively, getting b0, b1, b2 effectively, we can easily calculate the class, we can predict the class for any given x1 and x2. So this is the process how to define the weight, how to learn the weight vectors with the help of data, and how to get the equations to learn the weight vectors. So this is the basics of logistic regression. Now we will go through some more detail, like how to calculate or how to use this logistic binary classifier for multi-class classification. Actually, in the case of multi-class classification, we again convert the entire data into binary class. For example, suppose this is a point in class 1. Suppose there are some points in class 2, and suppose there are some points in class 3. To classify that, we can prepare 3 classes like C1 versus C2 plus C3. We mix and combine this at a class C2, and we can take this as a class C1. So this will be our model M1. After learning, this will result in model M1. When we take C2 versus C1 plus C3, it will be like model 2. We can design another C1 plus C2, then it will be like model 3. Now after learning these models, we can easily check the class probability. Suppose for any data set x1 and x2, we got for this model we get the value 0.01. For this we get value like 0.7. For this we get the value like 0.4. Then in this case this was maximum value, so we will put this point in class C1. But there are some situations, because we are using multi-class classifier by using one versus all, so we will also face the demerits of one versus all type of classifiers, which is class imbalance. Actually, in the case of why class imbalance comes here, because we take some data from class 1, training data from class 1, and we combine the data from multiple other classes. So in this case, the entire training sample biased towards the some majority class. So in this case, it generally results in class imbalance. We can solve. There are a lot of problems. There are a lot of ways to solve this class imbalance problem by using upward sampling, downward sampling, AdaBoost, and some other boosting algorithms. So we can apply a lot of things to solve this problem. And one thing that we should take care of, that in the case of logistic regression, before going through the data, first we have to remove the duplicate entries. We have to remove the entries which shows multicollinearity, and after that we can directly apply this data to learn these parameters. And after learning those parameters like b0, b1, b2, or it may be anything like for example here we taken just two parameters, so it may be like b3, x3 till bn, xn. We can learn all those things, and after that we can identify the class of or we can predict the class of new points. Thanks for watching.